Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Lorenzo, of course, and welcome to another Let That Marinate podcast episode. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for the love and support. I really appreciate those who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, who's following me on all of my social media platforms. I really appreciate that, and I hope that you continue to do so. Um, Speaking of podcast platforms, I'm going to be using my Spotify a little bit more for those who listen to their podcasts on Spotify. Y'all just make sure y'all be on the lookout for that. So I'm just going to get straight into it, man. So the last podcast that I had I did it on I did it about a video that went viral of this young lady who was recording her husband sleeping in the car, right? And uh, again, it was a viral video, so that means pretty much a lot of people caught wind of it, including big time podcasters such as Joe Budden and The Pivot. So they decided to share their thoughts and views about the podcast, but apparently the young lady had a problem with it, and it caused even more problems in their marriage. I'm going to show a video of her expressing her feelings about that, and I'll be right back to share my thoughts about it. So here's the video. Y'all take a look.
Apparently Joe Budden's podcast and the ex-football players, The Pivot, I believe it's called, they decided that they were going to discuss my video with my relationship. My man don't have social media, so he would have never seen the video that I posted of him sitting in the car and me trying to figure out why he ain't come in the house. But guess what he does watch? He watches those goddamn podcasts. So then he hears them talking about the whole scenario of what we were doing, what we were going through. And guess what he's doing now? He's packing his shit to leave because these grown men wanted to come and talk about my relationship off of a video that's 1 minute long. You guys don't know what happens in my house, okay? I posted that to give the two sides to the story. There's two sides. Okay? It's not about a woman who nags her man and he can't come in. It's also the side about the woman who works her ass off, okay? And just want to be supported. So thank you. Okay? Thank you for going on your podcast and discussing my relationship and ending it. Because that's what's happening now. He's packing his stuff and he's leaving because he's embarrassed and he's humiliated and he's getting this from his friends, and all these different people are like, yo, ain't this you? Ain't this you? Ain't this you? Off of your podcast. So I hope you're happy about what you've done because you've ruined my relationship. Thanks.
Okay, so that's the video. So, okay, so first off, when I saw the first video of her recording her husband sleeping in the car, of course my initial reaction was, why are you recording your husband sleeping in the car? Why are you recording in the first place? And it got me wondering, is this something that she does often? Excuse me. Is this something that, she is this something that she does quite frequent? So when I saw this video, a friend of mine sent me this video, and I was like, "Oh, that's the young lady from, you know, that's the young lady from the video of her recording her husband. That's the young lady right there." So when I saw this video, I was like, "Okay, let me go and look at her page." She has a TikTok page, and I went and looked at her page, and I was like, "Oh, this is something she does a lot." She makes a recording of pretty much whatever issues she was having in her marriage. No matter what the situation was, she was recording it and she was posting it. Basically making a spectacle of him, and using their marital issues as content. And I'm like, and it had me confused because I'm like, you're blaming podcasters for ruining your relationship. You're blaming everybody else for ruining your relationship. Ma'am, you have a whole page of you posting stuff, of you recording things that were going on in your relationship. You should have known someone was bound to see it at some point. So if anybody should be upset about your relationship being ruined, it should be you. It should be you, because you're the one that's putting it out there. You're the one that's exposing what's going on in your relationship. You're the one that's putting it out there for the world to see. So you can't blame Joe Budden. You can't blame the Pivot podcast. You have no one to blame but yourself. And I don't want to just attack her, because the thing is, this is for anybody who does this sort of thing. This goes out to anybody who decides to use social media to, expose what's going on in their relationship or their marriage or whatever. It's bad enough talking to your friends, talking to your family members about what's going on in your relationship, which is something you should never do in the first place. You should never bring in any outside interference. There should be no outside distractions, because you're only creating the wrong attention. You're only bringing in the wrong energy to make a mess of things even more. If you're going to talk to somebody, just go to a professional. Go seek professional help. Someone who's not biased. Someone who's going to call both of you out. Someone who really wants to help you get back on track. Social media is not the place for that. Social media is not going to help you get things back on track, especially when you're doing it in this form. This lady decided to, again, make a spectacle of her husband, and she's claiming that part of the reason why he's leaving is because he was embarrassed. Ma'am, the reason he was embarrassed is because of what you were doing, not because of what any podcasters was doing. Podcasters were doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, just sharing their thoughts and views on the things that they see going on in the world. And they saw a video that you recorded and posted, so they decided to speak on it. So if you didn't want them to speak on it, you should have never posted it in the first place. And again, that's something that that goes for anybody who's in a relationship, who's in a marriage. You should never share anything. You should never share personal struggles. You should never share private matters pertaining to your relationship or your marriage. You should never share it on social media. Never. So, and what's crazy is, while she was in the middle of recording, he was packing his stuff. So instead of going to him, having a conversation with him, trying to stop him from leaving, she decides to record and post. I'm not. I don't feel bad, because, for one, as I said before, it should have never been recorded or posted in the first place. So I don't feel bad that he decided to leave, because it's obvious because to me, I really don't think that she cared either, because if she did really care, she would have been talking to him instead of talking to the world. Right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Again, you should never jump on social media. You should never be quick to call your family or your friends. You should never look for any outside interference to help you with your relationship or with your marriage. You should never do anything that's you should never allow temporary feelings to cause an irreversible situation to happen. Right? You're only going to make that temporary thing permanent by doing stuff like this. So you have to be very mindful of how you go about handling things when it comes to your relationship, when it comes to your marriage. Because as long as you look for outside, advice, if it's not a professional, if it's not, someone who's going to be unbiased, you're just going to, worsen the conflict, thus causing your significant other to want to walk away. Right? So I my I I never want to see relationships end. I never want to see marriage end and divorce. I'm all about love. I'm all about, coming together and just making things right. But I believe that in order to do that, it takes both willing people. Make sure I throw that word in there. Willing. It takes two willing participants in order to make it work. But you both have to do your part. You both have to do your part. And if you find yourself in a situation where, there may be potential conflict that comes. If you don't feel like talking in that moment, at least go to another room or something. At least, go outside, get some air, catch your breath, give yourself a moment to kind of analyze and, process what's going on, because you don't want to allow it to build and fester and become something bigger than what it should be, causing even more problems. Just give yourself a minute to calm down so you can come back, have a conversation, but never do anything that's going to make it worse, because again, it's only temporary. What you're feeling is only temporary. Give yourself a minute, allow yourself to calm down, allow yourself to catch your breath, allow yourself to, again, like really process what happened, because it may not be as big as you think, but it can become bigger if you do things like this, record yourself or whatever, and sharing it with the world, you know. So anyway, those are my thoughts and views about that. And again, she does have, she has a whole page of this where she's doing this. So if you saw the name on her video, go and look her up, and you can see for yourself. Go and take a look at it, and you'll see that everybody who saw the video kind of felt the same way about this young lady. So but anyway, I hope, I wish her well, I wish him well, and maybe they can work it out. Who knows? I doubt it, because if this is the type of stuff that he has to deal with, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. But anyway, that's my time for today. Y'all know what it is. I don't like to stay on here long. I don't like to keep you long, but I do appreciate y'all once again for tuning in. And if you're not, um, subscribe to my YouTube, please go and do so. If you're not following me on social media platforms, please do so. And I'll follow you back. I like to stay connected. I like to stay in touch with, those who support me, because I want to support you back. So let's support each other. In the meantime, y'all know what it is. Hope y'all have a great day. Let that marinate. Salute.